Hello everyone, this is Maureen and welcome back to another day of praying through the darkness. We're going to talk about anger for just a few moments this morning, and I'm going to go ahead and share our Bible verse because it makes a very good point that I wish to bring out. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding, but he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. And that comes to us from Proverbs chapter 14, verse 29. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding. Isn't that wonderful to know? But how many times do we stop and step back just a minute before we open our mouth? Because that last part I know is going to hit home to a lot of us. But he who has a hasty temper exalts folly. In other words, how many times have you said something in anger that you wish you could take back? Or how many times have you done something in anger and wish you could take it back? Roll back the hands of time and rethink. But anger doesn't seem to allow us to do that, does it? When anger is brought on by hurt, we want to lash out immediately, don't we? We just can't help ourselves. We really can't. Or if anger sits there and just boils, like, the water in a pot, and continues to boil and boil, what's going to happen eventually? It's going to run over, isn't it? And then we are really in a pickle. But I heard some words from Joyce Myers the other day that really seemed to put anger in perspective. And I know I shared a little bit of it with some of you that may have popped in alive recently. But she was on stage and she was talking about this very word, anger. And what she did to emphasize what anger does to us is she went to the front of the stage and she squatted down. And she did tell everybody, yes, I can get back up from this, so don't worry about that part, which was kind of funny. But anyway, she squatted down and she said, I want you to think of anger as a ton of bricks on your back. And look where it's pushed me. It's pushed me down. It's holding me down. It's not allowing me to show God's love. Because when we hold on to anger, when we react in anger, we are exhibiting an ungodly act. And here's something else which I really didn't think about, but she said, you're robbing yourself of joy and love. You are also robbing God of the opportunity to work in your life. How many times are we told, and we have told others as well, take it to God. Let Him handle it. But when we allow anger to pull us down, we're no good to anyone, especially ourselves. And down in that anger, we tend to react in ungodly ways. Throw out words that hurt. Lash out, not only with words, but physical harm sometimes. So when we allow that anger to sit and to fester, it does nothing but destroy us. And that's not what God wants. God wants us to turn it over to Him. Because remember, if we are slow to anger, we don't let that anger allow us to be ungodly. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding. We have to know, we have to understand that people who lash out at us in anger, they're suffering from something. And I know that whenever we are hit with those words that, bring up this immediate response in us to want to lash back to, we need to control that. We need to step back, pinch our lips together, talk to God immediately, and allow Him to instruct us in what to do. Because remember, when we act out in anger, we're hurting so many people, and especially ourselves. So always practice. I'm not going to tell you this is going to be easy, because we all know it's not. But we need to learn to practice to slow that anger down. Put it back on the simmer. Take just a moment and let God direct our mouth, our thoughts, and our actions. In the vastness of your love, there is patience, kindness, understanding, and mercy. You are not easily angered or set off. You are not on a short fuse. In your heart, there is endless room for consideration and compassion. When I exhibit slowness to anger, I reveal that my heart is partnered with yours. I have been shown incredible mercy by you, and not just once, but countless times. So in the same way, I want to live out what I have experienced. Help me to choose to reflect the enormity of love that I find in you as I learn to connect compassionately with others. I want to be someone who is full of peace, grace, and understanding. And when you stop and think about it, when we allow anger to enter our hearts, all of that is shadowed, and we don't want that. Father of kindness, you have shown your love and your compassion towards me. I cannot deny the power of your love that changes me. So fill me with your mercy that causes me to slow down and consider others before hastily reacting in my own interest. God, you are good, and I want to reflect your goodness in my life. So stop and think about that for a moment. When we choose to let anger rule our words and our actions, are we allowing others to see Jesus in us? No, we're not. It's not an easy thing to do, folks. We're human. We hurt. We get mad. And it is okay. But how we get mad, how we then react, is where we need to step back and allow God to take that anger and turn it into good. Because that, folks, is what being a Christian, showing God's love, His compassion and mercy for us, that's what we want our life to reflect. Thank you so much for being with me today to hear these words. Anger's not an easy emotion, folks, to get under control. That's why we always need the Father's love and reminder that if He, folks, can show mercy and compassion to us, we need to show mercy and compassion to others. So let me remind you that this devotional came to us from this little blue book that's put out by Broad Street Publishers. As always, there's that link down in the description box where you can go and purchase your own copy, especially if you enjoy adding devotional books to your library, so that you have them to go and pick and choose from every time you want that extra moment with God. Let me also remind you that if you enjoyed today's devotional, to be sure and click that like button, leave me a comment where you found that God had to take those words away from you, and tell me, did it touch you? Did allowing God to take the words of anger, the action of anger before you were able to do it, tell me, how did you feel? If this was your first time here, let me invite you to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to click the bell with those cute little hugs on the side, because it'll let you know every time I upload devotionals just like today's. Remember too, folks, God is love. And if God can love us through all that we say and do, we need to allow that action of His show through us. So don't let anger pull you down and keep you down. You've got way too many things to do to show God's love and mercy. And remember, I love you. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.